right.
All right. I have kids somewhere. I don't know if you can send someone to.
Oh, do you want me to
seek
rally
out
the children?
Yeah, there should be a whole bunch of them around.
Yeah, they're here. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so wonderful to see all of you and to be back here. It feels like forever. A few weeks off, and then I guess many of you saw me last week, but I only saw my own reflection in the computer screen. So I thought I had services of one, but I'm guessing there were far more of you out there. I'm Rabbi Benjamin Zober, for those of you who have not met me, and these are our services here at Temple Sinai in Reno, Nevada. Welcome wherever you are, those of you who are here tonight, and everyone out there in internet land. Let's see. This evening we are praying, as we always do, or almost always do, out of Mishkan Tefillah, a Reform Siddur. If you are virtual and would like a copy, you can download a virtual Siddur at sinaireno.org/live. It will have all the readings and prayers and everything you need for this evening's services. So we will begin with a reading this evening, which can be found if you've got a bound prayer book on page 7. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. It is my great honor at this time to invite up Vida and Daryl Dworkin to light our Shabbat candles. If you would like to follow along, the candle blessing is on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. It's gonna make it. Yep, that one didn't.
So close.
So close.
We had the same problem, I think, last Friday night. It was just one candle would not light.
I have a trick. You got it.
Baruch
Atah
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav tzivanu, lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you.
Pleasure. I better get my glasses. There they go.
There they go, only if you want to see.
We continue our welcome of Shabbat with some songs. Our first song is Hine Matov, which we can find on page 10. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achot gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achot gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achot gam yachad. Hine matov, yadadai, yadadadadadadai. Hine matov, yadadai, yadadadadadadai. And our next song is Shir Chadash, which I believe is found on page 344. Please correct me if I didn't get that right. All right. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. And we turn all the way back to page 12, and we will sing together Lechuna Ranana. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nikad mafanav toda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana, ladonai. And now we turn to page 20 for Lechadodi. As is our tradition, we will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the 9th and final verse, I invite you, if you are able and you are comfortable doing so, to rise and turn to the entrance of whatever space you find yourself in this evening. Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yadadai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela, shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'shemu tiferet v'letehila. Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nilcha, Ki mekor haberecha mirosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshevat chila lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela hitorari Kiva orech kumi ori Uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alai nigla lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela boi b'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We turn to page 26 and we continue together with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba v'yalma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyom echon uvchayedecho beit Yisrael Bagala, ubizmahan kariv, vimeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, Layalam v'omei almaya, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yithalal, shemei d'kudesha barichu, leila min kol birchata v'ashirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dahamiran be'alma, v'meru, amen. At this time, we turn to page 28, and I invite you, if you are able, to please rise for the Baruchu. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Amevorah. Baruch Adonai, Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed, Amevorach, Amevorach, Leolam Vaed. We continue together, the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam can be found on the very next page. Ahavat Olam, Bet Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, Humenu nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, Uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, V'yorech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, v'yahavatcha al tasir, mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. We continue with the Shema, page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We continue together with the V'ahavta, page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, V'kol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. We continue now with a reading which is found on page 45. We read at the top of the page together. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. The Michamocha can be found on page 40. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele, malchutecha ra'uvanecha, בוקי הים לפני משה, זה ליאנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פר אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. We turn to page 43. We read together in the middle of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Vishamru can be found on the very next page. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael od hi leolam, od hi leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et hashemayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. And as always, thank you to all who joined me in dancing. All right. At this time, we turn to the Amidah, which begins on page 46, and I invite you, if you are able, to please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagit tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה אליו, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום ילוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, We continue silently to page 62. Please be seated when you are finished or when you feel ready.
Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, huyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Huyase shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Huyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. At this time, we turn to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service this evening. We begin at the top of page 245. We read, "Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God." At this time, it is my honor to invite up Sandra and Doug Goodman to open our ark and carry our Torah this evening. I invite you all to please rise. Ki mitzion teisei Torah, Ki mitzion teisei Torah, u'devar Adonai merushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, Uneromamo Shemo Yachtav. Lecha Adonai Hagedula, V'hagibura, V'hatiferet, V'hanetzach v'hahod, ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, yamit na'aseh lechol rosh. Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, haolam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Take the top off that. You may be seated. Thank you both. Doug, I have such respect that you make sure that no one is missed. If anyone wants to kiss the Torah, you are on it.
Sandra is QA on that.
It is my great honor and pleasure to invite up for chanting Torah this evening, Tova McGilvray, and for our Aliyah, Dr. Susie Ramos. Ta'amod Sarah Rachel Bat Shmuel Aliyah HaTorah.
Nepotism at its finest.
There you go.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
That looks familiar. Yep.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe bo el Paro ki ani hichbadeti et libo beid lev avodav leman shiti ototai ele bikirbo uleman tisaper Behozne bincha, uvein bincha, et asher chetalalti b'mitzrayim, be'et ototai asher samti bam, viratem ki ani Adonai. Vayavo Moshe v'acharon el paro, Vayomru elav, Ko amar Adonai Elohei ha'ivrim, Ad matai me'anta le'anot miparnai, Shalach ami vayavduni.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah hamet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. All right, we have some blessings for you, so don't go too far.
Okay.
Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you as you have come up to Torah in honor of God and Torah. May you merit from the Holy One of blessing, protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in your every endeavor, together with all Israel. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
At this time, we take a moment to think of those in our community who need a bit of healing, whether it is of body or mind or of spirit. Right now, our congregation is thinking of Kevin Ashton, Kathy Bartlett, Tracy Bartlett, Batya Ta'ali, Laura Cohen, Margaret Theodora Doty, Dan Dworkin, Jeffrey Four, Sanford Freelander, Stephen Gould, Marlene Harris, Debbie Herman, Jason King, Kevin Knox, Letitia Kruger, Margaret Lewicki, Debbie Matthews, Harav Miriam bat Shifra v'Pinchas, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya bat Sarah, Michael Yitzchak ben Esther Malka, Vivian Morgan, Tim Ober, Elspeth Olson, Carol Pevney, Wendy Rains, Judy Ramos, Sarah bat Chava, Shana Bracha bat Esther Malka, Phil Shallett, Chris Stanton, Petra Suber, Bobby Wells, Usher Zalech, and Yafa Rina. And at this time, we are also thinking of Airman First Class Trenton McGregor, along with all of the other military personnel assisting in Israel. We think of all of the souls in Israel affected by war and violence. We think of communities throughout the world that are unfortunately touched by violence, as well as everyone affected by the coronavirus and long COVID. If there are other names that you wish to share this evening, if you are online, I encourage you to share those names in the comments. And if you are present here, I invite you to please do so when my eyes meet yours.
Alex Forgotten, Melissa Peters, Asia Goins.
Ray Steinberg, Julian Malone.
Mark Cutting, and Saltpeter Steve.
Joe Goldberg. Kurt Chester.
Connor Sullivan and Faith McCoy. Linda Dupier.
We offer our Song of Healing, Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach, which can be found on page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBrecha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habrecha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. At this time, I would like to invite up AJ to lift our Torah and Rosie Whitaker to address our Torah. And I invite you all to please rise. Vazod HaTorah Asher San Moshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Yad Moshe B'Yad Moshe Yai Rai 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 Yai Rai 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 Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. We turn to page 257 and we read responsively. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace.
Its highest teaching is love and kindness.
What is hateful to you, do not do to any other
person.
That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization,
Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties, but the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all.
Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do. Page 256. Eitz Chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tocheha me'ushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol nativotecha shalom. Ashirenu Adonai Elecha v'Yashua Charesh Yameinu Kekedem. Thank you both very much. You may be seated. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. Aubrey de Graaf. Pharaoh's courtiers said to him, "How long shall this one be a snare to us? Let the men go to worship their God. Are you not yet aware that Egypt is lost?" As the plagues rained down on Egypt and the Egyptians, Pharaoh and the people faced more and more consequences. To be fair, God did harden Pharaoh's heart, but many of our commentators share that that did not take away Pharaoh's free will, but rather spoke to his resolve and determination. He was still free to stop at any time. Along with Pharaoh's heart, God hardened the heart of Pharaoh's courtiers. And yet, the courtiers in this passage realized that the destruction caused by the plagues was simply too much. So far beyond that they dared to speak strongly and directly to Pharaoh. And for a moment, he relents. And then when he asks Moses who would be going out into the wilderness to worship, Moses says, "Everyone." And Pharaoh changed his mind. Pharaoh, who was no fool, had every opportunity to realize that he had made a mistake. But he did not change his mind. He continued and paid the price until the firstborn of Egypt were all killed, including his own. He spent so much time making a mistake, he could not give it up. This is something we have continued to see throughout history. How many wars have been waged only to see their battles prolonged long after the cause was lost? John Kerry famously asked the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, "How do you ask a man to be the last man to die for a mistake?" I do not imagine that it would be much better to be the first to die for a mistake, but by the end, we hope that we would know better. But often we do not. I wonder why. Some of it as we saw with the Pharaoh, is simply pride. It is hard for us to admit that we made a mistake. It is never easy to admit that we were wrong. And in a society that idealizes perfection, anything less than that is difficult, and being wrong sometimes feels impossible. Sometimes we refuse to see our mistakes because, as the graph suggests, we have spent so much time making them. Maybe we have invested money or energy as well. We do not want to feel as though we have wasted these things. How many of us have held onto cars far too long because we just fixed the brakes? How many of us have been in relationships and thought that the time we put into them outweighed how unhappy or how unhealthy they are? Sometimes we think that wasting more money is better than losing what we have already spent. Sometimes we think just a little more energy, a little more time, or a little more money can turn it around. There are times, though, when things cannot be turned around. A lost cause is lost no matter how much we throw ourselves or our things into it. And if we are only continuing to do so because it is what we have always done or what we have done for so long, even though it might feel right to keep doing it, it does not help. There were things that we let go of during the pandemic because we realized that they no longer served us. And we had just been doing them because we always had. Do we really miss dress codes? Other things can be turned around, but at what cost? Pharaoh could have taken that chance, but did not. He was the most powerful man in Egypt, and he had been spared from most of the consequences of the plagues. He could still get fresh water even when the Nile turned to blood. He still had the means to find food and eat even when swarms destroyed the crops. Only, as he would find when his son died, was he completely unable to escape. To err is human, they say. Although we are not the only ones who make a mistake. God makes mistakes. Early in Bereshit, God sees the mistakes that God made in the world and what has happened to it. And as a result, God floods the whole thing and starts over with Noah. We focus a lot on how much work God did in those 7 days of creation. But we never really connect that to the idea that just a few chapters later, we see God abandoning that project rather than continuing to work at it. Well, unfortunately, we cannot flood our problems away, but there is something from God's ideas that is usable to us. We do not have to keep making mistakes. The Meshaloach, Rabbi Mordechai Yosef of Ishbitz, had an insight as to mistakes. To truly understand some things, he said, we need to learn the hard way. That is, through our experiences and mistakes. In his experience, a person can only uphold the teachings of the Torah when they have stumbled in them. There are some things we can only learn by doing. I often tell people when they come to my office and begin their Jewish journey that I could give them a book that will tell them everything they will encounter in services. But it is better to come and see it and feel it in the same way that I could read a book. on how to remove an appendix, but I would bet that you would rather trust yourselves to an actual surgeon. We learn by doing, and we often learn by making mistakes along the way. But a mistake is not failure. Thomas Edison, who had some fairly significant successes, put it this way: I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work. Sometimes we cannot learn without making mistakes. God knew this, and seeing the mistake, responded to it. Pharaoh had no such humility or insight. Pharaoh did have something, though, that we have: people around him. If only he had used them. It is hard to admit that we are wrong. It is even harder when we have invested in that idea and stand to lose. But we have to have the strength, if not the wisdom, to be able to realize that and stop. When our friends and our family come to us and tell us that all is lost, it should be a sign that things are really bad, and we should listen. But we seldom do. Our friends and our family cannot make decisions for us any more than Pharaoh's advisors could make decisions for him, or any more that hardening Pharaoh's heart forced him to choose one course. Our friends and family often know better, or at least see more clearly than we do. Rabbi Marcy Bellows reminds us that acknowledging our mistakes means taking responsibility for them. That might be the hardest part, and perhaps is what really keeps us holding on the most. But we can always take responsibility. It is something we always have the power to do. The car may eventually give out. The plagues may eventually destroy the nation. But we can always take responsibility for the choices we have made. So this Shabbat, let us take stock of what we have done. Let us be honest about our mistakes and what we are holding on to. Let us not worry that we have invested too much. Let us instead consider taking responsibility, being humble, listening to those around us, and admitting our mistakes, something that even God has had to do, and then change before all is lost and all is too late. As the old adage says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Shabbat Shalom. At this time, we will turn to the Aleinu. And to open our ark, it is my great honor to invite up Rose and Diana. We turn to the bottom of page 282. And if you are able, please rise.
That's all you gotta do.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'mei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא
Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad. Thank you both. You may be seated. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. At this time, we recall Marilyn Alkin, Bob Raymond, Eric Rosenberg, Tova Bat Meir Tirza, Raymond Russell Riker, Judith Tamkin, David Torgman, Lorenzo Otero, Anita Goldwasser, Jamie Smith, Mark Umlas, Francine Catherine Barr, David Ben Avraham, Tatiana Marie Granoff, Millie Ralston, Carol Ann Garris, Esther Bat Evron, Scott Johnson, Eric Hobson, Daniel B. Stage, Sue Berkhammer, and on this Shabbat we commemorate yahrzeits for Marilyn Alkin, Maurice Cooper, Eleanor Fink, Debbie Friedman, Elizabeth Ruth Rassler, Guy N. Richardson, Gregory Reimer, James Gross, Jesse Goodman, Abner Sable, Ramirez Benjamin, Millard Petersky, Andrew Wisniewski, Moshe Elbaum, Ruth Press, Lillian Zucker Rubin, Javier Salinas, Herman Burns, Harold Rothstein, Ralph Clifford Wells. If there are other names that you wish to add, I encourage you again online to do so in the comments, and if you are present, when my eyes meet yours.
Alita Tunnel.
Emma Jordan.
Michael Burrow.
All the innocent people who have died in this war.
Marco Myers.
Rabbi David Ellison. Diana Beckerman.
Michael Matthews.
For all those and those we hold in our hearts, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach La'olam U'Olmei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitareh V'Yithalal Shmei Dekudesha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Ta'amiran B'Alma V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. Tova, are you on for announcements? All right.
Thank you, everyone, so much for being here tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Benjamin, for leading service tonight. And thank you, Cookie, for helping me to greet everyone who came in. Thank you, Michael, for running our live stream tonight. And thank you very much to Vita and Daryl Dworkin. They are hosting our Oneg this evening in honor of their 49th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's quite an accomplishment. I chanted Torah tonight. Thank you so much, Marilyn Roberts, for helping make that possible with the information that you shared with me and the support. If you also would like to chant Torah, please reach out to Marilyn. We would love to get you into the pipeline with lots of runway to get ready for it. This was my second time doing this parsha. It is easier the second time around. I didn't believe her, but it really was. So thank you. We'll be having the Yisma Zoom for those of us who are attending services virtually. So if you hang around, we'll all get to say hi to each other after services. Torah study will take place this Saturday, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Details can be found at sinaireno.org/Torah study. And tomorrow evening, Saturday at 5:30 p.m., it will be a Havdalah of Love at a home in South Reno. I have the address. Mara Langer has the address. If you feel like you would like to attend, just find one of us, and we would love nothing more than to share that home address with you. So the 5:30 p.m. we're all going to meet, and Havdalah will start at 6 tomorrow. On Sunday, Sinai School will start with our weekday family tefillah at 9:30 a.m. At 10:15 will be our mid-year congregational forum. So I do hope that all of you who are invested in, it's our state of the state, if you will. So if you are invested in how the synagogue runs, we're going to take a really uplifting recap of everything that we've accomplished in our first 6 months of this fiscal year already. We're going to do some goal setting and let you know what the board has been working on. So that will be at 10:15 on Sunday, the 21st, both in person and in Zoom. The Zoom link is available in our Temple Sinai newsletter and probably the website as well. Our Social Action Committee has started their winter warm clothing drive. So you are welcome to bring warm clothes, coats, hats, socks, and blankets, and all sorts of general bundling uppingness here to the synagogue. And the Social Action Committee will collect those items. If you bring them even in large garbage bags, that's going to help them get them out into the community even faster. Thursday, the 25th at 4:15 p.m. will be our Torah for Tots program, where they're going to learn about Tu B'Shvat. On Friday, the 26th, we will have our Kabbalat services again. The last Friday of every month is a mask-required service for those who might be immune compromised, so that will be Friday, the 26th. Torah study will be Saturday, the 27th at 10 a.m., and Sinai School will be January 28th on Sunday. Let's see. Do we have a Tu B'Shvat Seder sort of thing to share about that? Okay, all right. I've heard, save the date. I've heard that there might be a Tu B'Shvat Seder on Sunday, the 28th is what I'm thinking of. I see someone from the JPC nodding their head. So we will add more to that as details become known. And Purim Spielers. So our Purim Spiel this year will be starting our rehearsals. It'll be an adaptation of Oklahoma with Oh Hadassah. So if you have the bug and haven't yet had a chance to let us know that you're interested in being in the spiel, I'm sure we could still find a place for you. As I said, our Oneg hosts this evening are Daryl and Vita Dworkin, but there is an ongoing Oneg challenge. As you may know, we have a generous donor who is sponsoring half of our regular Onegs for the year and encouraging the congregation, challenging even the congregation to sponsor the other half. This is all about building community because nothing brings us together like a nosh. And our Temple Sinai Library would like you to know that their online public access catalog, you can view our over 4,000 titles that we have available in our library online and do a little checkout there. So thank you so much for being here this evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Tova. Our closing number this evening is Ein Keloheinu, which can be found on page 322. Oh, the one other thing I want to mention before we get to that, those of you present here may notice that we have a few extra young folk in our midst this evening. That is because they are beginning a Shabbaton. Our youth cabal, our youth group, is going to be spending the next 24 hours or so here with all sorts. They've started with services, and they will spend the night doing all sorts of fun and wonderful things, and continue that on through tomorrow. So if you have kids who are that age, this is what's that again? 12 and up. And would like them to be a part of this, please let us know. It's a really terrific group, and it's a great way to be part of the Jewish community, and it's great for the kids to get to do stuff, and their parents are not there bugging them and watching over them. So please consider that as well, so we can have more people and more events, because it's just really something that I think everybody can benefit from. So, without further ado, we have Ein Keloheinu somewhere in my book. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Chemalkeinu, Mi Chemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.